I'm Lara Crighton. I'm from Glendive, and I attended DCC right out of high school in 1998. I initially signed up to take some ballroom dancing classes at the encouragement of my parents. And when I got an A in ballroom dancing, I felt like I was really going to nail that, GPA. So I attended DCC for 2 years, and I actually really struggled as a young student. I worked, I was distracted, I was starting to not have that GPA that I thought I should have. And that's one of the things I'm most grateful for about being here is that actually my English teacher found me on the weekend. We'll just say I was across the street from his house for reasons that I shouldn't have been. And he had a conversation with me about what I was doing and why I was doing it, and that I was kind of throwing away my potential by just behaving in a way that wasn't appropriate. And that's maybe not the greatest story to tell, but the reality is that he cared what I was doing because he knew me from his class. He'd seen me in class and saw me disappear from class. So having that real connection with an instructor at such a small school was just probably the only thing that kept me from just dropping out and doing something else. So I finished and I went on and I moved to Denver for a while, and I just, worked menial jobs. And then I came back to Glendive. I got married. I, got pregnant and came back to school because I felt like I needed to continue to pursue my education to get a degree that would serve me better. And initially I wanted to be a nurse, but I ended up with a very complicated pregnancy that put me right in finals week on bed rest. I was doctor's orders, not allowed to leave my house. And it goes right back to the way that DCC has always treated me so well. I had instructors come to my home and proctor my final exams so that I could graduate. And I just don't think that would have happened anywhere else that I would have been. They really, they cared about what I was doing, and they didn't want me to have to retake the classes. It was too late to drop. Even though it was a medical reason and I know somebody would have helped, I was certainly able to fill out paperwork while I was on bed rest. So I had my son. I actually met my husband at DCC. He rodeoed here. My son's initials are DCC. DCC is just this really vital turning point in my life. There's so many things. It's so much more than I could ever explain. But I think if you want to go somewhere where people notice you and that you aren't invisible, DCC is really the place to be. I was in the plays. I was in the band. I was elected to the Associated Student Body, which was actually my first experience in student government. And the president at the time was just very involved with that and making sure that we learned. And so if you fast forward now 20 years, wow, it's been 20 years. I serve on the Glendive Unified School Board. I've been the president of sports boards, all kinds of things like that. And I can genuinely say I wouldn't have been comfortable running for public office without having that experience on the Associated Student Body at Dawson Community College. I wouldn't have known what to do or how it worked. And so I was able to go into that job with some confidence that I at least understood how the election of officers works, how you handle those situations. I feel that DCC really ingrained in me a sense of community. And I've lived in Glendive my whole life. We have the family. We're a core family of the community, and it's part of us. Like I said, my dad worked here. My maiden name has been here forever. And so I just want to remind people that sometimes when you live in a small community, you think, I got to get out of here. I got to go somewhere else or I'm going to not get what I need in life. And you don't have to get out of where you're at. You have to get out of your own head. And I think the staff and faculty at DCC is so good at knowing what you need and how to help you get where you want to go, that this truly is the best place you could ever start. And I love it here. I came back when I became a non-traditional student. We're the ones who sit in the front row and ask a lot of questions. I came back to get my degree in chemical dependency counseling, and I went on to work for Watch East as a addictions counselor for almost 10 years. That was an amazing part of my career. I retired from that, and now I have sort of an odd job. I work for a media company, KXGN, the Marks Group Radio, KXGN TV5, and I actually still use some of the tricks that were taught to me by my public speaking teacher at DCC to get over the nervousness and the inability to just keep going. she taught me to not panic. And the thing is, we all used to joke about public speaking as though we would ever have to speak in public. And I think that skill has served me better than anything I've ever done. So I encourage anyone who is considering going to college to try DCC. Try community college. Community is in the name for a reason, and we all need community more than we realize.